Good afternoon, all. We'll resume the session. Welcome you all to the session two. Sir, Sazil, sir, can
Yes,
we start the session? Yes, sir.
yes. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so we will continue from where we left off last time. So we have seen how to add footnotes to the document. Now we will see how to add like headers and footers. Like you might have seen like on the top of the page, on the left side, center, right, and similarly in the lower part of the document page, you might need to add some like page number or like chapter heading or which chapter it is, which section it is, your name or some workshop name, etc. So all these things we can do that with using a package called Fancy Header. So depending upon whether you are working on a single-sided document or a double-sided document, you just need to give the commands respectively so that it would appear in the right form. I will show you the use case. So for a single-sided documents, as usual, you can load the document class as article, and then you need to add the package name, that is /use package fancy header, and you have a couple of commands like page style fancy, page fancy head function as blank, and then I am adding some words to the headers and footers. So I want to add the LaTeX name in the right side of the header, and the left side I need a word called tutorial, and on the right side of the footer I want the page number. So for that I use like page/the page. So the page corresponds to the current page number, whichever page currently you are viewing, it will add the correct page number. Let's see this code snippet in action. So I'm having some document with some content like figure, introduction, etc. So yeah, so I'm having a document of class type article. Then I'm inserting the same commands I just showed you for a single-sided document. So and I am having some sections and some images, etc., which is inserted as space separated. Okay, so yeah, let me change the source image name. Now compile it again. Okay, so here as you can see, the tutorial word appears in the left side of the header, and the compiled LaTeX symbol appears in the right side. That is why I have given like /LaTeX, or if I just give LaTeX, it will appear in the normal styling, like just as a word LaTeX. Okay, so what I want is like the style I want is on right side of every page I want this symbol, this word. On left side of every page I want the word tutorial, and the lower left side I want like FDP, and the lower right side I want the page number. If there are two pages, then what we will have is like everything will be same, but there will be like one more page. Let me try to add some content so that you will be able to see the change. So you will have one more page, I think. Okay, so in the first page, you have the same tutorial here, LaTeX here, FDP here, page number 1 here. In the second page, you have the same things, except that the page number is updated. So by giving /the page, that will automatically insert the page number on the right side. So since we are giving like right footer, that is why it is appearing in the right side. Suppose if you want to appear it in the center, then what you can give is like you can give it like seafood. let's see what the change happens. See, now the page number appears at the center part. On the first page also it appears here. Likewise, there is actually 6 positions where which you can insert content for the header and footer in the left side of upper left, upper center, upper right, and the lower left, lower center, and lower right. So you may not want to use every one of those, but you still have option to do that. If you don't want to, suppose if I don't want the tutorial to appear here in any page, I can comment it out, and I only want the page number and the LaTeX word here, then I can comment out the rest of the 2 and it will appear here. So for example, if I want in the left side, I can give L footer. The page number will appear in this side. Likewise, depending upon your requirement, you can design your choice of document design for the header and footer. Okay, so now when it comes to double-sided documents, just like when I initially said, like when you are compiling large documents, there is space, there should be space left for the binding for the on the left side if it is a odd page, and on the left other right side if it is an even page. So, and also the numbering, the page number, if you have observed, the page number should be appear in different sides depending upon it if it is a even page or an odd page. So to do that, we have some additional settings. So which is done using, like, we need to mention it is a two-sided document. That is why we are mentioning it like document class two-side, and it is a book type, and we are using the same package, fancy header, page style fancy, and here we have some additional settings. So what I am mentioning here is that I want the symbol LaTeX to appear in the left side if it is an even page, and in the right side if it is an odd page. Similarly, for tutorial, I want to appear it in the left side of the header if it is an even page. That is what is meant by RE, and in the the right side if it is an even page, and left side if it is a odd page. That is meant by LO. So the LERO, RELO all refers to the like left even, right odd, right even, left odd. Likewise, we have the center even, center odd, left even, right odd, etc. So you can experiment with these settings and see how the change appears. Let me try to show you that example. Need to change it into side. See, here you can see the change. So since your large document will be having a binding on the left side, in those cases you want the page number to appear in the right side because it's an odd page. So here for the odd page, where is this? Yeah, for an odd page it should appear in the right side. For an even page it should appear in the left side. So if you go to page number 2, the page number appear here. So if you can imagine a book which is opened, so you need to like you might don't want to put some information somewhere close to the binding appears, so that it will be hard to see it. But if you have left enough space for the binding, then that is not a problem. So in this document, what I have designed, it is like for odd pages, it should appear like tutorial LaTeX on the tutorial on the left side of the header and LaTeX on the right side of the header, and then nothing in the left side of the footer, and right side there is page number, and that will be changed when it is an event page. So all these things will be automatically taken care of LaTeX if you have given the correct setting. So depending upon your requirement, you can change it. Like you can even put the numbering in the center side also, so that it is not an issue. Okay. So that is about headers and footers. There are, I think, other packages also for controlling the headers and footers. You can try experimenting with that also. But I'm just showing the most frequent or most simplest libraries and use cases which you might be need to implement in your thesis or report or project. Okay, so now let's move to the next thing. Okay, now as you know, you might need to add like things like in the initial pages, you might need to add the table of contents, the list of figures, the list of tables, etc. Like abbreviations, like things of that sort, you might want to insert in the beginning of the document when it comes to books and reports, etc. To do that, there is easy way to do that. We don't need to write it everything like from like a table or a list or enumeration, etc. We can simply use like 1 or 2 commands to generate those. I will show you how to do that. So to insert the table of contents at the beginning of the document, you can give the command the / table of contents, and you can likewise, if you want to add the list of figures, you can just simply by / list of figures and then / list of tables for tables also. So I will show you this use case. So I'm copying the content from here, from example 17 given in the web portal. So here, see this package is required. If you likewise, just earlier in the session before, I showed you how to create code for table, and then you can actually create coloring and other styling within that tool itself, and it will give the LaTeX code. Within that code in itself, there is a comment and it mentions like which package you have to use. So Xcolor is used for like giving color to the text or table or content. So just you need to remember that. So here this article will be having like few sections like introduction. There is a figure, there is a section for analysis, and there is a table here, some placeholder text, etc. So let's see how it will appear. See, the table of contents is automatically appeared along with page numbers. You don't have to manually create this again. So here, since we have only 2 sections like introduction and analysis, so only that much appear in the table of contents. Suppose if I add another sections like conclusion, let's see what will happen. Not only it will appear inside the document, it will update in the table of contents also. So the good thing with it is that you don't have to worry about the page number. So if you go to this page number, it will be the correct page number at which that part is mentioned, and you don't have to worry about its ordering, etc. Suppose if you want to add another section in between, like if you add another section like methods between introduction and analysis, then analysis will become the 3rd thing and conclusion will become in the 4th thing. So I will show you how to do that. But after analysis, I am adding another section. So it will appear, it will update the table of contents also. See, So numbering automatically taken care of, the page number is automatically taken care of, and you don't have to worry about that. In other cases, there are some options to do this in Word and other document processing, but it is not as robust as LaTeX. So this is where the power of LaTeX actually comes in. And similarly, for the list of figures, see, in this document, we have only one figure inserted here, like this one. I will change. See, there is only one figure here inside this document, and that appears in the list of figures. So if you had like 10 figures, then all those 10 figures and its caption will appear here. Sometimes one thing you have to be like be careful, or you might need to use it, like sometimes when the caption gets too lengthy, like you want to mention like this is measured from experiment B and so on, so parameters, etc. It will get too lengthy. So it might be difficult to accommodate all those things within the list of like this list of figures page. So what you can do is, like, there is one option. Suppose the caption was too lengthy. So when it comes to in table of contents, it might be a bit odd to have a lengthy name for the list of figures. You can actually give a small name, a short name for the short caption for the figure. You can give like you can give a bracket and square bracket and give a short name. So when it comes to figure, this short name will appear in the list of figures. And if you go to actual figure, whatever you have given in the caption in full length, it will appear here also. So that way you will get over that problem. Like you can give a descriptive, very relatively long description, explanatory description as caption within the document, and also you can give the a concise short heading or caption for in the list of figures part also. Similar same procedure goes with tables also. Since you have given, since in this example there is only one table, and it has a caption also, and just mentioning slash table of list of tables, it takes care of that. It lists all the tables with its respective caption and its page number. So one thing you need, so here what I have done, one thing which I forgot to mention is that after the list of table of contents, I want the list of figures to appear it in a separate page. That is why I'm giving a page break. If I don't give that page break, I think it will appear in the same page. So whenever you want to see after contents, the list of figure appears itself in that page itself. So if you want to avoid that, you can give like page break. You can give even page break at any place, like any place in your within your document. For example, if I want, for some reason, if I want a page break after this image, I can give that here. So when I compile this, everything after this image and caption will be in a fresh page. Let's see that. See, so everything is just pushed over to the next page, and then continue then afterwards. These are small tips which will be useful for you. And another thing I wish to mention is that earlier I have shown you the vertical spacing, right? I have shown you the vertical spacing. You can also have horizontal spacing. For example, if I want to have for some reason, or like this especially comes useful in tables and other technical things like equations, etc. But if for some reason I want a horizontal spacing of a specified length. I can give that here. So what happens is, like, after this first word, that much space is left, like 2 centimeter is left, and then the content continues. Okay. So that's about list of figures and list of tables and contents by generating. You can easily generate once you have the other structure, like other sections, headings, tables, figures, etc. is in place. Okay. So we are like moving closer and closer to like a complex document. I think we have like almost many things which we want to, like every code snippet example shows you one feature or one aspect of towards building a very complex document. You can actually combine all these things, and then once you have a structure, you can update your document very easily without much worrying about the margins or spacings, image referencing, cross-referencing, etc. And this example is actually for like inserting abbreviations. So before that, I just need to show you how to separate the .txt file into multiple files, because that is necessary, because it is not advised to write everything in a single .txt file. You can split it across multiple files. For example, you can have a main file, main.txt file, which actually calls like chapter 1 tx, chapter 2 tx, 3 tx, etc. So I will show you that use case with the input example. So input command is used for loading one other tx file to the main tx file. Let me show you that. So what I am doing is like, let me delete the old content. So here what I am mentioning is that let me start with only the first command. So what I am mentioning is that I want a chapter named abbreviation. Whether it is okay. Let me see if it is article book. Some content. I'm inserting some content. Okay, so suppose if I want to add one content or LaTeX code from some other file, I can use the command called /input. So here I am having a thing like front pages /abbreviation. That is why that means the thing is within another folder called front pages. So we can, if you want, you can actually create another folder named front pages, and you can insert the second LaTeX file inside that. So in this example, I'm not showing that. Let me give a name like file.txt. Okay. Okay, I think there is no file named with that name. Let me see. One second. So here what I have done is like I have given the command input /input second file.exe, and that file is here. So whatever the content of the second file, it will load to the main file and it will get compiled. So likewise, you can like split your whole document, your thesis or book or report into multiple sections, like for chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, etc. And for each chapter, you can have a separate .tex file. And then you can comment out everything else and then work on a single file. When it finishes, you can move to next file. And when you want to have the final complete PDF file, you can uncomment everything and run it as a whole. So what you will be doing is you are calling every other file from the main.tex file. Okay. And also you can give folder names, like it's a good practice to do the file organization. Chapter 1, create, and I'm moving this thing to here, but I need to mention that here. See, it is getting auto completed. I don't need to give, I think I don't need to give .tx when I'm using input. So see, it gets compared. It goes to the folder chapter 1 and takes the second file.exe, and whatever that content it pastes here, and then it gets compiled. So with this thing, you can actually like for the abbreviations, you can actually use the same strategy. Like you can actually mention the abbreviations in a separate file called abbreviations.tx, and you can put it in a folder called front pages, and then you can call it from there. So let me try to do that. Okay, I don't need this to show this example. Let me see. Let me change the folder name. File, second file, chapter 1, second file, and I need this abbreviation to appear. So what I need to do is like I need to go to that folder, to that file, and paste the content here. So if I have some other thing like other short form, like let's see. So if I want that also to appear here, I can compare it from here. So it will appear the, okay, I think I need to add one library also. Okay, maybe the you need to load the right file of document type, then only it will appear. So there is some bug. It should appear as if like the expanded name and plus the abbreviation. So it should appear that way. But for some reason it is not appearing here. I think it is because the usage of like the right class or the right package. I think we can figure it out later. Now let me show you how to insert like things like source code. For example, if you have some code snippet in Python or R or any language, and you want to insert it into your PDF file in your report, research report or thesis, and you want it to appear in the nice formatted way, just like we see it in blogs or websites. So you can use one package that helps to do that is like Mintet. This package will actually takes source code written in Python or any other language, and then it renders that in a very nice form. So I will show you that. Okay. So here I'm saying it is I'm having a section called reproducible research and some line here. The code is used for the given study below, and I'm using the command called input mintet. In brackets, I am mentioning Python. Python means it is of the file is of, or the source code is of type Python. It's a Python source code, and I'm mentioning the file name also. Okay, so I need to upload that or create that source code file also. Then only it will appear in the right way. Let me do that. So where is it? Yeah. So this is some sample file, sample Python code. So if you open it in any integrated development environment or good program, it will show with nice coloring, spacing, etc. So we want the same kind of feature to appear in LaTeX file also, or the PDF rendered PDF file also. I'm pasting it here. I just need to rename in the right way. Okay. Now, if I compile it, see, it is rendered in a nice form in the PDF. You don't have to give the coloring or spacing, etc. What it does is like it goes to this file where we have the raw source code file. It takes it and it renders it in the right place and with the right formatting. So you have to give the right, you have to mention whether it is of Python or Java or C or C++ here, and it will do the formatting, etc. So like way you can even append your source code to your document, like many other things you can add, like using the input mintet package. So if you have any questions in between, you can ask. If you have any questions or doubts, you can ask. Hello? If there is no more no questions, then we can move ahead with other examples. So we have seen how to insert source code into your document also. And so you can practice this also. Now we have the very important part, the most important part when it comes to compiling documents and typesetting it, which is actually managing the citations and references and bibliography. So we have already seen how to do the cross-referencing, etc. Like referencing the equations, tables, figures, etc. Okay, there is one question, how to use
Sajil sir. Sajil sir.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah.
Actually, now in chat box there are some queries. Okay, so
Okay. Okay. I will go through. So the last one is about like tables and how to insert figures inside that. Okay, so okay, let me show you this table here. So here we have this table here, and suppose if I want to have an equation inside this content, let me try an equation. So I'm inserting between the ampersand symbol. So the equation appears here. See, I'm giving it between this ampersand and the next thing. Likewise, you can add equations easily within table. When it comes to images, let's see whether it will work or not. I'm not sure. I haven't done like inserting an image inside a table, but anyway, we can try that still. For example, if I want to have this image, like in place of 3, I want to have this image. I'm pasting that content. And, I need to change the file name. And let me try to reduce the width also. It is not working, right? So for that, I think we need to add some other packages. The default method is not working with that. But you can definitely add textual content like equations, cross-referencing, etc. Footnotes also you can add. Like if you have a footnote here, like I'm having a footnote for part and like the cell number, second row and first column for 4. I have added a footnote, and that footnote should appear somewhere. Still not appearing. Yeah, but one important thing is that the overleaf takes care of a lot of background, like it take care of some errors, and it doesn't show you the actual warnings and etc. But if you are using TextStudio as an offline installation, then many of these things will work. So I would recommend you to try TextStudio also with the same strategy. That way you will be, maybe you will be able to do that, get that functionality. But the footnote inside table, I have done that before, so I'm sure we can do that. And equation also works. So let me try to go to the other questions. Can I add a single column footnote in double column page? Yeah, that by default it will appear as a single column footnote. It won't appear as a double column, I think. If I am right, suppose let's see if it was and so yeah, okay, it appears as a double column itself. Maybe trying with different document class. No, it still appears as single quote. Yeah, all these different combinations, there will be some definite options, but I cannot show you right away because I haven't tried that. I am showing you whatever I have tried and experimented with, and some of them I have tried, but I couldn't show it here. I can tell you that whether I have done it or not. But you can always go and search about it and find an alternative. So many times we need certain functionalities, like how to have a footnote as a single column. So in order to do that, you need to go to the LaTeX documentation and read about it. I'm sure there will be some parameters for that and get over that functionality. So many things I have learned on my on this way only, because I want to get some functionalities and I couldn't find a easy example, so I go and try experiment with it. Since it's open source, it's definitely possible. Okay. Is there any other questions? Tutorial PPT along with LaTeX tutorial. Yeah, I can share you the PPT once the session is over. Oh, okay, you need explanation how to take figure from local disk. So it's very simple. There is this button, upload button here, which you can see here. You can press it, and there is another upload option here. There is this option called drag here or select from your computer, and then you can go to the respective folder and select the PNG or JPEG or whatever it is image here. Just okay. Yeah, what image format are accessible in LaTeX, like TIFF or EMF, are not working? Usually all the formats like PDF, you can even have PDF file, PNG, JPEG, JPG, all of them are working. TIFF should also work. If not, there should be some other packages to do that. I think TIFF should work because those are like vector formats, which is especially good with high quality images. If it doesn't work in the way, then I think there should be some other library for that. Or you can convert it to PNG and JPEG and then upload it. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Where to get all packages? So packages by default in Overleaf, most of the required packages are installed by default. So you don't have to worry about installing the package. You just need to know to use it, like /use package, what name to give, what parameter to give, like other parameters, settings, etc. when it comes to Overleaf. But when it comes to the Text Studio and offline installation with you, so it is different for like different operating system. When it comes to Windows, it asks you when you first load it, the first time when you load it or use it, it will ask you whether to install it or not. So that way you can proceed installation, and once it finishes, you can right away use it. So in Windows, it is done that way. Whenever you encounter a new package, it will ask for installation and you need to install it. When it comes to Linux or Ubuntu, as I have shown you in the initial in the web portal, the installation setting, there is some couple of commands, like 3-4 commands, which is used to install it from the terminal, and it takes around like approximately 2 GB of data. Like it tries to download every other LaTeX packages out there available and then install it. So if you are doing that way, then also you won't be able to, there is no need to specifically install any package. It will be there. Okay. How about working with TIFF file? So you just need to, if it is to be used, you just need to upload the file here, and then you can mention the file name with its extension. Then it should work. So, and if it is not working, then you need to inspect the error messages and see whether it is a library issue or a dependency issue, etc., and figure it out. So my strong belief is that it should work with every standard image formats. I think IEEE requires is the images in TIFF format. I think, I'm not sure. I vaguely remember it like a couple of years ago, used TIFF in compiling the LaTeX. Okay, so let me go with the most important part of using the citation and bibliography. Okay, so so when it comes to research papers and thesis, you need to actually cite the papers or create the reference list with a specific format. So if you are not aware of that, there are two parts to it. One is the citation part, where you cite it in a specified format, and then in the reference part. So for example, in IEEE papers, you might be already familiar with the IEEE format, where you actually cite with numbers. Like in a square bracket, there is a number, and you can follow to the reference section and follow that number, and you will get to see which paper are they citing or mentioning about. So let me see if I can find an example. So yeah, here, as you can see here, it refers to a paper here, and it is numbered as 2. And we can go to the reference section, and that will actually showing the full name of the paper, its authors, which journal it is belong to, or which conference, the date, etc. So there are many formats with which it is represented, depending upon the journal or the requirement of the institute. There will be specified format for this information in the reference, also the citation part also. Then you need to be aware of that part. So which format that actually requires your supervisor or your institute or the journal requests the thing to be shown. So you need to understand that part. And once you know that, you can give the necessary settings to your LaTeX code, and then you can actually compile your document according to that. Let me just on the slides again. Okay, so there are mainly, when it comes to the citation part, there are two parts, or mainly two types we can see. There is the parenthesis cite or author year cite. So when it comes to, yeah, how to do it? No. We don't need to do it manually. That's the point. So if you are going to do it manually, then you will know the pain. So every time you need to change the styling. If you submit it to one journal and you, for some reason, you want to submit it to a different journal, then it will be very difficult. You need to go everywhere and change it and make sure everything in the right format and or not. So that is not the point. So I will show you how to do that and how easy it is to do that. So you might know the author year citation format. So in the body of the text in the research paper, when we big text from it has big size name like transit. That's okay. I will show you. I will show you how to deal with that. Okay. So the author year format is like the name of the first author and then comma separated the year at which the paper appeared, which is appearing in the brackets. But when it comes to the reference part, all the reference will be sorted in the alphabetical order. So that way, someone reading the paper, they can actually track the author name and go to the reference section and see which paper it is. And there are a couple of citation styles, popular citation styles like chemical ACS, IEEE format, APA, etc. So we will see how that works. Okay. So let me see how to show you that. So this one will appear as very helpful. Okay, let me see that. I will explain this first, and we can see that example. So first, you need to understand is that you need to insert the right information without any error. So otherwise, if you are giving wrong information inside the file, then definitely you will get like garbage output. So you need to avoid that as much as possible. So let me just clean it up a little bit. Unnecessary files. Okay, so the thing is that we need to insert one package called bibliotex for the citation, for using the paper citation and referencing. So that is the usage is like /use package bibliotex, and then there are a couple of parameters. Backend equal to bibliotex, style equal to alphabetic, and site style equal to author year. So as usual, we have the usual content here like paragraph, images, etc. And now what you need to do is like you need to collect the right text information from the respective journal. So it's every good journal provides the information in a standard format. So with which you can, if you have collected the information in the right format, then you can once you collect it, you can use it forever. You can change the parameters in the commands, and you can get to yes, you can insert the reference with automatic numbering without no, you can't do that with, yeah, you can do that without using a bib file, but that is not very easy. So if it is a couple of papers like 5 to 10 or 2 to 3 papers, that's okay. You can use that. There are methods to do that. But what I would recommend is to use this method. So So if I go to this journal, there will be some papers, and so mostly the thing is that you will be mostly working with for your research project like 50 or 100 or 200 depending upon what stage of research you are. You will be working on some papers which are closely related to it, and you will be like reading it and knowing the name of the papers, etc. So by the end of your research work or PhD work or project work, you will be knowing the names of the papers and the content, etc. So for example, if I want to cite this paper, or this is a paper I want to, okay, it is not available. Let me see, try with another paper. Yeah, so you need to collect this information. So there is one option called cite this. In IEEE, it is IEEE journals, IEEE Explorer, it is shown as this. But in any other journal, there will be an option like cite this or extract the citation information or get the BibTeX file, or some option will be there for sure. So you need to go to this BibTeX and you need to copy this information. Or it is given as plain text, yes. It is not coming in the right format. Let me see again. Or I will try some other journal. So there is option called info and metrics for citation tools. I think it is citation tools. Let me see that. See, citation manager format, and it is downloaded as a text file. So you need to collect this information. So the right format we need is so IEEE is down. Okay, maybe, yeah, that may be true. So what I am mentioning is that we need to get the BibTeX information in this format. So the correct format will be like @article. There is some handle name, just like the reference name I showed for with images, and we can change that. And there is other options like author, title, volume, number, year, DOA, URL, etc. So everything is comma separated in brackets, curly brackets, and then for the last thing there is no bracket, no comma. So you need to get the information in this form, and you need to paste all these into a single file. Okay, so I'm pasting a couple of information into that. Save. Okay, I pasted this, and this is one paper I wish to cite, say for example, and I'm saving all this information in a single file. References.bib. I have saved it that name. And by the end of your research project, you will be very familiar with the most frequent papers which you might want to cite or cite. So you can give a handy name which resides in your memory, so that anywhere where you want to cite that paper, you can easily recollect. Okay, I have this paper about gene expression or something like that, which came in 2021. So it is from Enrica or someone named Enrica or like that. So I can give a friendly name. This is how I do it. So that way, okay, this is the reference or the pet name you are assigning to this paper, which you can later use to cite that paper. So that way, this way you need to collect the information of the most frequent or the most important paper from your area. That way, once you have collected that information, you are done. There is nothing much work required. So only thing you need to make sure that this BibTeX information is received in the right format. Make sure there is no comma or like bracket missing or something like that, and there is no spelling mistake or other name is mistake or something like that. Here they have given the abstract also. Since we are not using abstract in citation, we can delete that part. Make sure you don't delete the additional comma here. So you just need to only retain the relevant information you want in the citation to appear, the reference to appear. So I'm giving it another handy name. So it is it appeared in Pinna, so I'm giving some another name, handy name for that. And I am copying this file as appending this file to the previous file. So you can append it in any order, that doesn't matter. So we have two articles. So likewise, like this way, you need to get the correct information, ideally from the correct journal itself. Like if you are citing a paper appeared in like IEEE transactions on industrial electronics, you need to go to that particular journal and that particular paper, and from that journal itself, you need to get this information. Okay, so once you have all those information for the most useful papers in your area, then you can do everything else. You don't need to do anything else. Okay, so now we have this, and we need to upload this file to the overlay. So I'm only showing with two papers. Okay, since I have only collected two information, so it's just a text file, but except it is saved with the .bib and another name called references. You can give different name, but you need to mention the same name here. So I have used references.bib, so I'm mentioning the same name. You can also move it into a different folder, but then you have to mention the path also. Okay, so now we have that information and we can start citing the paper. Okay. Suppose if I want to cite the first paper here, what I can do is like just give cite. So it will automatically list all the pet names which we have given for all the papers here. So you can just select it from here. And here we have one command called print bibliography that will actually print the reference list. So let's see how it appears. See the reference appears in this format here, which is the default format, I think, for this. See, I have given like alphabetic and author year. And here, when I am using author year, I need to cite it in parent site, I think. Where is it? Yeah. Since I am citing it author year format, cite. Yeah. See here, it appears in parentheses the author name and year name, and in the references also it is. You can follow this author year name and get to that reference. So if I want to cite the second paper, I can give parent site PNAS 2021, the other name, and the reference will get updated. You have the other citation also, reference also, and within the paragraph itself, you will be having the citation part. So if it is having multiple others, it will be automatically giving it as a total. And since if I don't want other year format, I can delete that, or I can maybe IEEE, give IEEE, and I don't need parenthesis citing, I just need the normal citing. So I'm giving like that. See now it is appearing as like in brackets the number. Okay, citation should also get updated. Let me see. I think I need to mention some settings. Okay, not alphabetic. Now it should change to numbers. See, it is changing to 1, 2, and respective. Here also you have 1, 2. So depending upon your requirement, you need to make sure the correct setting. So you need to in the BibTeX file, all the information is same. It will appear in this format only. But when you are giving the command in the LaTeX, you need to give the right setting. And please understand that this is for journal article. That the right article is for journal. If it was a proceedings or a conference paper, it will be slightly different. This part will be different. Like it will be like proceedings or something like that. And there are other things like at URL, at reports, at things like blog articles or miscellaneous things. Like if you want to cite something like that, then also there is some difference. So you can actually go to the documentation of Overleaf for citation and bibliography, and it will show all the relevant thing, all the formats for that. So, but you can actually construct this information also. If you have some paper which, whose BibTeX information is not available, you can actually construct these things. Like you just need to give it in the right thing, like author, give author, and then names of authors comma separated, and then comma, cross the bracket, then title, etc. And there is another way for getting the text information, but I won't recommend that because it might encounter give some error. But still, if you don't find any other information or to get a initial draft of the BibTeX information, you can use that by using Google Scholar. But whatever you use, you need to make sure that there is no errors in the BibTeX information you downloaded from the journal itself. But because in some cases, even in the journal BibTeX information itself, there can be some error. So it is not 100% fault proof. So the responsibility is up to the researcher to make sure everything is in the right format. So if you give the correct information, then everything will work smoothly. Or if there is any error in the information you provide in the BibTeX information, then it might give some errors and weird output. What is the difference between cite, cite ET, cite P? When can use them? How can we decide? I'm not sure because I have used only parent cite and cite. So I haven't used other things, but definitely there should be some documentation where you can figure it out. Okay. Now, okay, is there any? Okay, I will show you how to extract that information from Scholar also. So, sorry. So suppose if you want to cite one paper, this is a book actually. So you can go to this button and it is already giving the things information in their different formats like MLA, APA, Chicago, which I mentioned. But you can click the BibTeX here and you can copy this information from here. But I won't recommend this because this may not have every information like DOE number or other things. It is always recommended to go to the right journal or right publisher and then get the information right from there. So you might have noticed the @ instead of @ article, it is something different, @ book. So that will be different. Likewise, or conference, etc. There will be different formats for the BibTeX, but that is available in the publisher itself, right? In the journal itself. So you don't have much problem with that also. Okay. Yeah, I think this is the way to manually give it without using the bib file. Yeah. I don't understand this question. Like the transaction will appear as trans in the reference. Oh, okay. Okay. That may be because the format itself tells to truncate or shorten the name of the journal. So that might not be an error. That may be a desired effect. Okay, the same thing for this also. It appears in this format. If it appears in this format, then that should be the actual format that is required. It's an abbreviation or the short form. When we about technology, it has okay. Like it is in short form of for journaling. I don't understand that question. So there may be some method to make it short. I'm doing it manually, which leaves it time and symbols. No. You if you want to extract the BibTeX information, there is no need to pay anything. You can get it free. There is no problem. So for every journal, the BibTeX information is available free, even if it is a paid journal or a open access journal. The BibTeX information is available for everyone. You don't need to have any subscription or things like that. So okay, another thing I need to mention is that, see, I have showed you the class name, right? So, okay, let me show it again. So whenever we prepare a LaTeX document, we are giving the class name here, right? So, okay. Whenever you want to submit a paper to IEEE transactions on some topic or some journal on IEEE transaction, you need to go to that respective journal, and there is an option for downloading the template LaTeX source code for compiling the research paper. So so that template code will be having all the functionalities for the like to whether the journal should appear as transdoc into doc dot or in full name or whatever required by them. That journal will be having giving all the settings, all the LaTeX class files for that. So once you have that basic template, you can insert your content only. Then everything will be in place. I think that is what we missing. Okay, let me see how to get the transactions on industrial electronics, I think. Okay, so for every good journal, every standard journals, there is an option to like submit. Okay, there is system maintenance happening for IEEE. So I will show with some other journal. Okay, what is next? Which one do you want me to show? Like, if you have any suggestions, I can try that. Apart from IEEE things, because it is down right now, I think. I'll see. Okay. Okay, let me take any journal. There is an option for download the LaTeX. Okay, let me take this as an example. Applied soft computing. So if you want to submit a journal paper to this channel, there should be some option for submit your article. There is an option. So once you click that, it depends upon from journal to journal, from publisher to publisher, where you can get the template file will be different, will be at a different place. So you just need to get that from the journals about information. I think I need to log in to get that information, or I can just Google it up for the sake of a demonstration. But the proper way is to go to the respective journal and get the template. This is from Overleaf. Okay, so preparing using rules. You can download set of files containing template LaTeX manuscript using else article class. That is okay, class else article class, and put plus associated BibTeX style files here. So once you click here, it will download some files, some template files for Elsevier. Let's see what's inside that. Okay, let me go to that. Where is it? Where did I download it? Documents. Okay, this one. See, once you extracted all those things, you will be getting this set of files. So let me try. See, if you want to work with LaTeX, with Overleaf, what you can do is like you can directly upload that template file. You just download it. So you can upload that zip file itself. Okay. See, it will open up with the LCR format. So it has a lot of template code. You don't need to, you only need to insert the content. So it is of document class of type review. So first is go to the review, and then if it is approved or reviewed and accepted, it will change. They will change the format. So this is the submission format with I think 1.5 line spacing, and the class is else article. So everything like font size, citation, everything is every setting is built in. So you just need to insert the content only. So see, this is the place for inserting keywords. Where is it? Keywords. Begin keyword and keyword. See, this is the keyword. So suppose you want to have something else, you can give. Let's see, it should get updated to the, see, it appeared here. So I need to, before this, slash separator is to separate each keyword from other. So you need to figure it. Once you figure it out, then it will be much easier for you. See, the additional keyword I have added appeared here. And if you need to change the title, we can change. The respective part. And see, here I have changed the content and it changed. I didn't set the font size or the font style, etc. It is all taken care of the class, LaTeX class provided by receiver themselves. So likewise, you can add, if you want to add abstract, you need to, there should be a place for abstract. See, whatever you place inside this will appear as abstract. You add some content, whatever you want. It will appear here. So, and there will be some basic instructions also how to use it and how what all sections it should have, how it should be the other names and affiliations or should be given. So all those things you just need to just read it through and then use it. So you can ignore the other files like .bst files. So this is the bib file where, just like I showed you, they have added 2 examples of bib text information, and you can cite it from the text file. So they have cited it. Let me see how, like, which way they have cited it. See, they have used the cite itself. So they are citing here, they are citing 2 papers at the same time. So that is why it is shown as with comma. So in the example I have shown you, like citing only 1 paper at a time. So you can also cite more than 1 paper at a time by just giving the short name of that paper, the handy name which you gave in the bib text information with comma separated, and both will be cited. So see here they are citing both together, 1 and 2. So like this way, there is LaTeX template code available, standard template code available for all good and standard journals. You just need to go to their journal information and submission instructions and download the LaTeX associated files. Once you have that, you can edit it with your new content and then produce your paper. So I think they require when you submit the journal to the journal also, they require you to submit the whole LaTeX source code. Okay. Yeah. This is for IEEE transaction. The class looks like /document class journal IEEE trans. Yeah, you don't need to worry about the syntax since you have the template LaTeX code. All the syntax, for the syntax of LaTeX commands, which you mean, yeah, that is same for all journals. They might have some additional commands also, like just like I show you, like how to separate instead of separating the keywords with comma, they have used a command called /sep to separate the comma, right? So there might be some additional commands or usage defined by the publisher themselves, whoever they create, which they create the template. So all those information will be available in their, here itself. All those information will be available in the documentation of the template with which you can use that. Okay. So that is how you prepare research papers or journal papers with using the template from the original journals. Now let me move to, I think there is only a few things left. Let me see what is left to. Okay, what research paper? Okay, this one is actually, if you are creating a thesis, you might need to manually create it like a front page with like your thesis title, the department name, university name, month, year, your name, etc. So this way you can actually create it custom. This is a custom design, right? So many universities has their own templates for submitting thesis. LaTeX templates are available. If it is available, then you don't need to create this. You can actually use those templates. If not, once you can create, or your senior created, or if you created, then your juniors can also use it. Like how the front page should be, on what font size, how much spacing, etc. If there is an emblem, etc. So this is one example, like how to create a title page, everything in centered position with some vertical spacing, the thesis title, again some text like description, there is a space for logo, the department name, university name, year, etc. Okay. So yeah, so now if you want to have a basic thesis or project report format, I think we can try it if you want, like splitting it across multiple files and then creating separate pages for like in different chapters, front pages, appendix, references, etc. If you want, we can do that, but you need to combine whatever you learned during all these sessions and then combine them together to do that. So that will be like a master project for you to create everything put everything together to create your final thesis document. Okay, now I will show you some example or how to create presentation slides with LaTeX. So this presentation slide itself, I have shown it to you, is made out of LaTeX, and so I will show you that with some examples. Okay. So to create a slide, you can actually use a different class called Beamer. So it starts with /document class Beamer, and some things like settings like mode presentation. And this is the template code which is available in Overleaf itself, which you can use. And I am using a theme called Madrid. That is why you are seeing a blue color with some formatting or settings with the lower part where we have the date, the page number, etc. So to add a single slide, so initially I have the title of the presentation, the name, the date, my association, designation, email ID, etc. Then I'm adding a slide. So for a single slide, it starts with begin frame and end frame. Okay, so if I want to add another slide before this first slide, so the first slide is what is LaTeX. So this, if I want to have another frame or slide before that, I can give like begin frame, end frame, and here I'm showing the frame title. I want a title like what is LaTeX, which is shown in a big font size. So I can give that like using this command called frame title. So if you want, you can give like something like introduction. Many things like images, footnotes, tables, everything are same with presentation slides also. So this is compiling the whole 63 pages. So see, there is one more slide appear here in between the welcome first slide and what is LaTeX slide. So it doesn't have any content, like it just have a title, slide title of introduction. Okay, so a few things like the theme, the begin frame, end frame, frame title, etc. are for creating presentations. But you can actually use everything. We have almost everything we have learned so far, such as items, images, etc. within this presentation itself also. So that way you can create presentation slides. For example, if I have an item and so this is same example as we have shown with the creating LaTeX documents. You can use the same thing for presentation slides also and get it compiled. So you can add a slide in between anywhere. See, it automatically adjusts some spacing to fill the whole space. That is why it is taking that space. There should be a way to override that setting. Let me see if there is any other extra feature. Okay, here I'm just inserting some figures like some icons, and I don't want a caption to appear here. So here you can simply use begin figure, end figure, and then simply use the command code include graphics without any slash caption or slash referencing, because you just want to show a symbol or an icon or image without any caption. If you want caption, there is no, without any numbering, etc. You can simply use the command code include graphics. Can you make these documents available online as reference, not the default overlay, for example? Yes, it is already available in the link I have shared. So for every code snippet, every sample example, I have written a blog article about this, and you can go to this link and get the examples. Okay. Now here I have used the itemize, then here I am adding another figure here. So yeah, here also you can mention the width of the image to take the available width, what percentage of available width, and so on. Can you please save this image as TIFF and try again? Okay. See, if I just save it, just simply save the file extension, then it won't work. It won't work means it will work, but we are not sure like whether it is TIFF or not, or what I can do is like, or maybe let me see if anything missing here. Yeah, so the way I inserted LaTeX code in itself within the LaTeX PDF, that is how I showed you with the input Mindet, right? For the Mindet library, I have shown you how to insert Python code inside a document. So the same concept, instead of that, I have used LaTeX code itself inside LaTeX. Okay, so maybe can show you. Okay, where is it? Yeah, there is. Let me find it. Okay. So can you show the Python or MATLAB code insertion again, and how to generate pseudocodes? Okay, when it comes to pseudocode, I think you are mentioning about how do we insert things like algorithms, like algorithmic steps. There is a specific format for inserting. Suppose if we want to propose a new research method and we develop a new algorithm, then there is this option to, or the requirement to add pseudocode of that algorithm as a box or something like that. So for that, I think there is some packages or for the respective class. I have seen that in archive format. Yeah, you can make a flowchart in LaTeX. You can actually make graphs, etc. But there are those are things that is a bit more complicated. But you can still make that flowcharts, etc. There are libraries to do that. But mostly it is easy to first create it as image or PDF and then insert it as an image, which mostly serves the purpose. So with pseudocodes, I think there are some commands for that. So if you get some LaTeX or the archive source code, we see the paper. This is I think this is an archive format, I think. So if you open the actual source code of this, you will see an option for that. So just like I showed you the IEEE template and how the separate slash separator is used to separate different keywords, they will be mentioning how to insert a pseudocode in their documentation itself. So it might be commented out because not everyone may not be need to do that, but I have seen it, like you can add you can uncomment those parts and you can add your pseudocode and then it will appear in a nice formatted way. Okay, so let me try to change this theme to a different theme. Let's see what will happen. See, the entire format is, the styling is changed, right? So you don't need to go to every slide and change the styling. You just, with a simple one-line command, you just need to make sure you are using the right template and your content is not offset, and anything is going below or above the margin, etc. So here they have given a set of stylings, themes with which you can create your PPT. And a lot of these things needs to be experimented out. So it is a practical skill, right? So even though I have used it for a couple of years, there are still many options or many things to explore further. So it comes through whatever our requirement, then we go to the documentation, especially if you are having some difficulty, you are stuck at some point, you can always go to the forum called Stack Exchange. So there is a thread or group of community for LaTeX in Stack Exchange. So as you know, the Stack Overflow is a sister website of Stack Exchange. There are many other Stack Exchange groups or learning communities such as operating system, Linux, etc. So there is one community for LaTeX also. So there you can actually post your question along with the bugs you are facing. Then someone will answer your query. Okay, footnotes, headers and footers. Okay, so the link for that is like text.stackexchange.com. And the overleaf also had some good tutorials with which you can follow, and you can actually find out how to type different equations. Like I have shown you only a couple of, yes, it is of the forum. I have showed you only a couple of examples of how to write equations, but you can actually try and experiment with like how to add factorial, how to give like binomial expansion, etc. All those things. There are certain formats for that. Okay. So that is with the slide preparation, and okay, these are some extra information like on how to, some accompanying tools which you might be able to useful to you, like will be like creating images and technical diagrams. So which are open source also, which include Inkscape, GIMP, ImageMagick, Draw.io. All of them are very useful things with which you can. Someone asked like how to create flowcharts in LaTeX. So you can use these tools also to create high quality technical diagrams for your work. Yeah, now all of these things are combined together, which will help you to create a thesis or write a thesis or a project report. So it will be having like, these are the set of steps for that. To create the font size, to decide how much margin it should leave, how much is it a double column or a single column, how much line spacing it should leave, the paper size, margins, the citation style, how it is to be cited and referenced, headers and footers, and other things. You need to design the certificates, the declaration, acknowledgement, dedication, etc. Then generating the table of contents, list of figures, list of tables, etc. are easy because I have shown you, right? With a simple one-line command, you can generate each of them. And you can organize the whole file into different chapters and call each chapter as and when it is required from the main.tex file. And then you have the references, and even you can add an appendix to it, like the source code, like the Python code or Java code or whatever supporting code or pseudocode which you want to include. So this is a sample organization or file organization method. So this is what I recommend. So create a folder for chapters and put each tx file as chapter1.tx, chapter2.tx, chapter3.tx, and call each of them whenever required. So if you want chapter1 tx content, then you can add like /input chapters, which is the folder name, and /chapter1.tx. So that way, all of your chapters will be in a single folder. And then you can group all of your front pages like abbreviations, abstract, acknowledgement, certificates, declaration, dedication, title page, etc. into another folder and insert in the same way, in the right order. And it is nice to group all images into a folder called images. So one thing you have to be sure about, or make sure that if you are doing like that, you need to set the path for the images. Earlier, I have just uploaded the images to the same home location. How to, can you please show the steps to insert or okay, deal with any template here like IEEE once now? Okay, I can show you that. So just like I mentioned, you need to get the template. So here I got the template from the Elsevier. So from the Elsevier journals homepage, I figured out, I read about it, and I found out the place where I can get the Elsevier LaTeX source code and associated file. So I download it here. So you will receive a zip file, a compressed folder. You can directly upload that compressed folder to your Overleaf account. So you can go to your Overleaf account, create a new project, upload project, and then you need to upload your zip file. So once you done that, you will have this file in your Overleaf account. So you don't need to uncompress it or unzip it. when it comes to overlay. But if you are using offline installation such as Text Studio, you just need to unzip it and run the main.tx file. Okay. So that way you will go to that file and you have the main.tx file. And there are some instructions given. You can delete whatever which is not applicable to you. You need to add the references to the bib file. So here we have my bib file.bib. Add your references here, just like the way I mentioned. The big text information which you get from each of the journals of the papers which you want to cite, and then edit your main.tx file. So if, for example, if I want to have one section here, let me see. See, if I want to have, this is the section, right? First section. If I want to have a section called introduction. Introduction, methods, results and discussion, conclusion, etc. So you know it, right? So you need to give section, introduction, whatever be the heading, then your content, then next section. So it will appear automatically according to their styling, LaTeX styling. You don't need to worry about that. And you don't, for the sake of demonstration, they have shown some examples, some documentation here itself. So you can comment it out either, or if you don't want to delete it and refer it back, or you can delete it and then only insert your own, only your content. So here they are showing how to itemize in bullet points, how to list things in bullet points. So you can select it and go to that part of the source code. So these are all for just for demonstrating how to do that from their part. So if they have any special usage, like the separator I have shown for the keywords, they will show you how to do that within the document itself. And there will be one documentation itself, which actually documents every use cases and every parameters we can change. By referring that also, you can figure it out. Okay. Okay, so okay, those are the main topics which I wanted to cover, and this almost many things which you need for your master's or undergraduate or PhD or even going for the research. You can actually follow this and you can create your documents. So once you are done with that, you can actually download the PDF by downloading the button I have shown here. And also like LaTeX Overleaf gives some facility to see if you want to download the whole project, you can actually select it and click the download button. So the whole zip file, just like how we got the template code from Elsevier, we can download that. And Overleaf appears to have some options to organize your files, such as giving it different label names. You can add it to different folders, etc., for organizing your files and etc. So those are the main things I wanted to share. If you have any specific questions, I can try to answer that.
Sajid sir,
Yes.
thank you very much for your nice presentation. Okay, it was very nice. We have received more than 200 feedback. All our
Okay.
chat very nice and very very good presentation.
Okay.
I hope everyone got from your presentation. any question, kindly to let me know or let sir, I can forward the question to Sajil sir, and by through email we can contact if any problem. Thank you very much, sir. On the behalf of
Okay.
international team, Calcutta University, for your